right, let's talk about something that could totally change the way you take the SAT. We're going to unpack a master strategy that isn't about learning more vocabulary or more math formulas. It's about rewiring the entire way you think during the test itself. So, first things first, I've got a question for you. What do you think is the biggest mistake pretty much everyone makes on the SAT? I'll bet it's not what you're thinking. It's actually something that feels totally normal, even smart to do. Yep, that's it. The single biggest mistake is jumping right to the answer choices after you read the question. I know it seems harmless, right? But it is the most effective trap the SAT sets. And today we're going to learn how to just walk right past it. Okay, so let's get into it. Why exactly are those answer choices your enemy? Because trust me, they are not your friends. The folks who write this test spend a ton of time and money designing them to trick you. And once you see how they do it, you're halfway to beating them. And this right here is the whole key. You gotta understand this wasn't an accident. SAT answer choices are professionally designed distractions. That's a powerful phrase. They're engineered to look good, to pull you toward common mistakes, and basically hijack your brain before you even get a chance to think for yourself. This just lays it out perfectly. There are two ways to approach a question. On one side, you've got the browser. They're looking at the choices and kind of asking, which one of these feels right? They're playing defense from the very start. But then, on the other side, you've got the predictor. This person already has an answer in their head, and they're asking a totally different question. Which one of these matches my answer? You see the difference? It's a complete flip from being defensive to going on the offense. So, the big question is, how do you become the predictor? Well, this brings us to what I like to call the new cheat code for the SAT. It's a simple, but man, it's an unbelievably powerful technique that puts you right back in the driver's seat. And really, it's this simple. Prediction is just the act of coming up with your own answer in your head before you even let your eyes look at the options. You read the question, you figure out the answer yourself, and only then do you look for the choice that says what you already decided. And why is this a cheat code? Because the payoff is huge and it's immediate. First, all those sneaky trap answers, they suddenly look totally obvious and just wrong because they don't match what you predicted. Second, you stop wasting time going back and forth between two choices, which saves you so much time. And third, your accuracy just shoots through the roof because you're not guessing anymore. You're matching. Okay, I know what you're thinking. This sounds great, but how does it actually work when I'm sitting there and the clock is ticking? Fair question. So let's break down how you actually use this thing section by section. All right, for SAT reading, think of it like a simple three-step recipe. Step 1, rephrase the question in your head. Make it super simple. Step 2, go back to the passage and find the exact words, the actual evidence that answers your simple question. That's your prediction. Step 3, now you scan the choices and find the one that's a perfect match. Anything that adds extra stuff or twists the meaning even a little bit, it's gone. It's wrong. You know, this prediction thing is maybe even more powerful for the grammar section. It's the same idea. You read the sentence, you spot the error, maybe it's a verb problem or a comma mistake, and then you predict the specific fix. And here's the critical part. You look for the answer that only makes that one fix, nothing else. If it changes something else in the sentence, it's a trap. Okay, now what about math? Prediction here is a little different. It's more subtle. You're not always trying to predict the exact number, like 17.5. Instead, you're predicting the shape or the form of the answer. Before you even start crunching numbers, ask yourself some simple questions. Hey, should my answer be positive or negative?
Should it be a big number or a small one? Is this graph linear or quadratic? Is it going up or down? This lets you instantly eliminate answers that just don't fit the logic of the problem, sometimes before you even do the real math. Now, look, no strategy is going to work 100% of the time on every single question. So let's talk about some of the tougher spots and the advanced rules of the game so you can really become a master of this. First up, you have to avoid a common trap I call over-prediction. You don't need to guess the exact fancy words the SAT is going to use, especially in the reading section. Your prediction just needs to be conceptually right, just pointed in the right direction. If you get the main idea right, the correct answer will just pop. But what about those questions where you're just stuck? You can't come up with a clear prediction. It's going to happen for sure. The most important thing here, don't panic. Prediction is your go-to tool, but it's not a prison. So when you get stuck, you just switch gears to your backup plan. You can fall back on the good old process of elimination, which, by the way, is way easier now that you're not easily fooled by the trap answers. For math, you can try plugging in numbers. And for reading, you can go back and meticulously check the evidence for every single option. All right, you ready for an elite move? This is for those moments when you've eliminated everything, but you're stuck between two really, really good-looking answers. This is where the SAT is at its most devilish. But there's a special test you can use. Okay, here's how the two-answer test works. One of those two choices is probably going to match your simple core prediction almost perfectly. The other one, well, it might also seem right, but it probably adds a little something extra, right? A new idea, a slight twist. And here's the rule you got to remember. The SAT rewards restraint. You pick the one that stays closest to your original simple idea without adding any extra baggage. So, when you put this all together, what does it really mean? It's about a total transformation. You're shifting from being a passive person just guessing at answers to someone who is actively dominating the test. And I think this quote just says it all. You stop chasing answers, you make them come to you. Think about that. You're not lost in the woods anymore, hunting for the right answer among all these traps. Instead, you're holding a flashlight. That's your prediction, and you just wait for the right answer to come to you and match it. And you know, when you really master this technique, something amazing happens. Your confidence just becomes untouchable. You walk into that test room knowing you have a system, knowing you're in control. You're not just answering questions anymore. You're matching them to answers you already know are right. And believe me, that changes everything.